A very good afternoon, and thanks for clicking on to the Wednesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. 25th of May, very quickly approaching the start of meteorological summer, and up until now, there has been a significant degree of uncertainty in the models with regards to the solution for summer's opening few days. And reluctantly, I believe that we could be starting to see some sort of a trend, the models coming together a little bit more with an overall solution. The Arctic oscillation is expected to go negative. Now, this is off the GFS ensemble, and you can see here that there is a good degree of consistency now in the overall models. Now starting to take the Arctic oscillation, negative, which is quite interesting. Now, the North Atlantic oscillation as well, being very positive in recent times, is also looking like it's going at the very least towards neutral, if not negative. And if you notice here in the CFSV2 this is the weeklies, by the way, it is taking the high pressure that has been very dominant, through much of this year. In fact, we've seen high pressure dominating, keeping things drier than normal on a large scale. Of course, we've had a wetter month during May. We've also had a wetter month during the month of February. But generally speaking, through the first 5 months of 2022, it has been very dry overall. And it looks as if that trend is going to continue into the month of June based on some of the model output here. So we've got week 1, and you can see here the high pressure centered generally over Biscay. So we've got that north-south split in conditions. Further north, wetter, windier, cooler conditions here. Further south, less in the way of shower activity for a time at least. And we've got warmer temperatures as well. Nothing particularly unusual for the end of May, early June. This type of setup taking place with a strong ridge to the south and low pressure to the north, keeping the flow in off the Atlantic. But if you notice here, as we go into the week 2, the area of high pressure noses northwards, shuts off the Atlantic once again. And that has been the case for quite some time, actually, when you look at the big, longer-term picture through the first 5 months of the year. But that area of high pressure, in yesterday's video, I alluded to the positioning of that high would be key in terms of what type of air mass we get here in the UK. With this latest position of high pressure predicted by the models, it would, yes, shut off the Atlantic, but being to the west or slightly northwest of the British Isles, that is cutting off a nice warm southerly flow off Africa, Spain, France, and the UK. In essence, it's actually pulling our air in from the north, which of course is always a fresher direction. So while with sunshine and pleasant conditions, temperatures will respond, of course, with the strength of the sun at this time of year. We're approaching the strongest time of the year, sunshine-wise. The temperatures are going to always be kind of somewhat restricted and limited. But this suggests to me that we have average temperatures at the very least as we go from the end of May into early June based on this model. Even in the week 3, the positioning of the high determines that we have a drier than normal pattern, but also a fresher or cooler pattern overall, because the area of high pressure is not overhead or east or southeast of the UK, which allows the flow coming in from the south. In fact, it keeps the flow coming in from the north, which always restricts temperature. And so that is quite interesting here. And then by the time we reach the middle portion of June, the area of high pressure becomes a little bit more stretched out from North America to the UK here. So we kind of lose somewhat of that kind of signal, so to speak, here. So let's have a look at that was of course the hemispheric view here. Let's have a quick look at the Europe view because it's quite interesting to see in a kind of closer up version. So of course that area of high pressure centred to the west of France, southwest of the UK and Ireland. We've got our air coming in from the west, and in the week 2 we've got that area of high pressure noses up towards Iceland here, but with the core of that high centred to the west northwest, we're drawing our air in from the north northwest. So that of course keeps cuts off that warm southerly flow even in the week 3, which takes out the period 7th through the 14th of June, high still to the west of the British Isles here. Precipitation wise, you can see here week 1 we've got wettest conditions across the far north of the UK, drier than normal Ireland and much of the UK, in fact, with the exceptions of the north of Scotland. Not surprisingly, in the week 2 we've got a dry solution. Of course, the positioning of the area high pressure keeps the Atlantic cut off from the UK, so we'll lose that moisture source. Any kind of moisture that we do receive will be in the way of showers and possible thunderstorms. Even week 3, drier than normal, as you can see. Temperatures, you can see here, week 1, the anomaly. It's a fairly significant area of below normal, actually, more so than warmer than normal across the UK and Ireland, as you can see here. Week 2, we've still got slightly below average temperatures here, but it's probably closer to average because, of course, when you've got that strong incoming solar radiation at this time of the year, it's not difficult to warm the air mass. You can see here, week 3, that a reluctant above average temperature profile from the 7th through the 14th of June. And then, like I say, we kind of somewhat lose the signal, so to speak, here. So it's very interesting, actually, when we do look at this here. This is the ECMWF, this is the 850 millibar temperature profile, which is, in a sense, a good representation of the actual air mass that we're looking at. And you can see here, as we skip through the sequence, we've got a relatively fresh air mass in place at the moment. Of course, we've got plenty of cooler in the mid levels, strong warming down at low levels, and of course you've got the convection that blows up quite readily once the sun rises in the sky during the morning time. Of course, got the kind of popcorn effect. Showers develop very quickly and become quite potent little features within themselves during the course of the day. They develop quite widely, and we see plenty of shower activity. Through the course of today, of course, we've got an area of low pressure that pushes to the north of the British Isles. It squeezes the isobars. We get a fairly tight pressure gradient between near Iceland and the Azores, so winds blowing in from the west at a pretty good clip. We could be talking about 50 mile an hour gusts in the northwest of Scotland, for example, north coast of Northern Ireland during Wednesday. We've got another system moves through during the course of Thursday, and then we have high pressure that builds in through the upcoming weekend. Notice here, though, very significant is the fact that we do not tap particularly warm air from the south. Now notice here, and as you would expect for the end of May, early June, warmth kind of building up into the Iberia, into the Mediterranean, but instead of having warm air coming north, we've actually got cooler coming south, and it's because we're pulling our air in around the top of that high and down the eastern flank into the British Isles, down through the North Sea, and it's pushing out that warm air across the southwest of Europe here. So we've got a little lobe of cooler coming down through the North Sea, and that just generally restricts daytime heating at the surface here. And as we play right the way through next week, you notice here that we've got another surge at the very end of the loop here of the ECMWF. We've got another little surge of cold air that comes down from the north here. And all it essentially is doing is deflecting that warmth that's trying to push northwards, so to speak here. Looking at the GFS, it has the same type of scenario overall. and we never really truly see that warmth getting lifted north. So, in essence, do we have a warm surge coming north as we open the door to summer 2022? The answer, in my opinion, is no. And you can see here as we play through the loop, we've got that north-south split in air mass, of course, as we pull our air in from the Atlantic. And then as we push into the weekend, high pressure builds in, but we're never really seeing that warm air from the south lifting north. In fact, high pressure, of course, remember I showed you the negative Arctic Oscillation, North Atlantic Oscillation, high pressure lifts northwards, and in essence actually draws our air in from the northeast. And again, it's the same old story. If only we'd seen this back in the winter time, this would have been a pretty exciting pattern. But of course, you start summer, after a warm winter, it's sod's law, isn't it, that we get the type of setup that we would have loved to have seen back in the winter time. But it does certainly look as if at least the first week of June, we are not going to see anything particularly warm, in terms of heat as we go forward here. So, yeah, I think we are starting to see that kind of coming together of model solution for the start of summer 2022. And in the coming days, I will certainly have the June outlook as well as the summer 2022 outlook available for you to look at here. So, yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Of course, I do hope you enjoyed the content today. Keep it right here on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back again, hopefully tomorrow, with more. Have a great evening. Bye for now.